What is up, YouTube? Spawn here. Now, today I want to talk about Mortal Kombat 1. It's something new, right? But we recently got, if you see on the bottom right, oh, you just missed it. We just got our most recent patch. There he is again, Ermac. Bars? Let's say with that one. We got the most recent patch that gave us Ermac. Okay? And what I've been hearing and what I've been seeing, Ermac is a great addition to Mortal Kombat 1. Amazing addition to Mortal Kombat 1. He has everything that he needs. He's a complete character, and all I've been hearing all around this is positivity about Ermac and what it looks like when you give a character an additional 6 to 7 months of dev time. They come they come out being a complete new. They probably will even shift the meta just from their appearance alone, just like Peacemaker. What brings me actual hope for this game is that these two characters were back to back. These two characters are undoubtedly the funnest characters in the game thus far. No doubt in my mind, these two are the most funnest characters on the roster. I've been hearing nothing but positivity about these two characters. There's nothing that I've heard bad about, except for Peacemaker, only because like a lot of people don't know who Peacemaker is. I wouldn't say a lot, but majority of people don't know who Peacemaker is, or Peacemaker's fan base isn't big enough for them to come back to the game and go, "Oh shit, Peacemaker is here." But that still goes down the line of like that still is on par with a lot of people don't know who Peacemaker is, right? If Peacemaker had a fan base of like fucking Johnny Cage or Liu Kang, or nobody's going to be on par with Melina. But if they just had like a fan, like a, a half a percentage of Scorpion and Sub-Zero, Peacemaker would have been a huge hit. He still is a huge hit for Mortal Kombat because he's a very fun character. I've been hearing nothing but positivity about these, right? But obviously, there's going to be downsides to this, of course, right? So, what are the downsides? Obviously, well, first, let's get over the good shit really quick, right? Sorry, I know I'm skipping a lot faster, right? So, they started going to the right direction here because obviously we got Ermac, we had Peacemaker back to back. Ermac is a great addition to the game. Round of applause for NetherRealm here. And they also started to add moves and starting to change a few characters that needed it, such as Rain. I'm not going to go over this in game bars, kind of. Let's let that linger a little bit. But they made changes to Rain. And his changes were his little fireball cancel that he can dash cancel out of. It now recovers 5 frames faster, which lets him convert. Yeah, it creates it makes his conversion and combo ability skyrocket exponentially. So now every single hit that Rain sees, he cancels from it. And if you get hit, he's launching you every time. His main problem was that he couldn't really get much because he always had to spin meter every time he touched you. He would do like forward two, and he had no way of getting damage off of that besides from using Geyser, which only gave him like 12 to 15% maybe. Or he would have to spend meter every single time he touched you. His meter management was pretty garbage due to that factor, right? And if you include Breaker and Wake Up, he was always very low on meter. But now he can convert off of almost any and everything. They also gave him a new move too. So I like the direction that they're going with this one. They're starting to add to characters instead of taking away. I love that. Same thing happened with Reptile. Reptile got a new move. He got acid spit back. Spits on you. I ain't talking about Uganda style. You get what I'm saying? He does acid spit now. But the main buff here is that any airborne move that Reptile does, he can now special cancel those into other airborne specials, such as his reptilian drop, the little overhead, his most common enduring combos. Yes, any string that puts Reptile airborne, he can now cancel into that special move. But they also gave him another additional move to where he can also cancel the reptilian drop. So instead of him fully committing to the unsafe reptilian drop, he can cancel that and go invincible, and he like flips backwards, which creates a little bit of space, which is a great addition because that's absolutely what Reptile needed. He needed some form of like um balance, right? He was always this well-rounded character. Even though he's not what he used to be, nowhere near close, they still starting to add on to him to kind of like give him that fast-paced reptilian feel, the one that we were always used to. Dash across the screen, zigzagging and everything like that is not what it is, but they're starting to slowly come to that a little bit, right? They gave him acid spit, they're giving him ways to like create space, make the game feel a little bit faster. You're like always constantly doing something with Reptile, and guess what? Now that he can cancel that, he also gets the same thing as Rain. He gets high combo com- conversions and combo damage goes up. His combo damage was already great because he got meterless damage. But now since everything is airborne and he can cancel, he gets even more damage. Great. They adding on the characters. I love it, like it. How can you not? Right? But now on some more good shit. Raiden finally got nerfed. Finally. Finally. The reason why this is such a big deal is because Cyrax here was nerfed to the ground because of these two. These two characters ran the meta with Cyrax. This was even before the Sindel and Kung Lao synergy was even discovered, was even acknowledged. Before Corsi put Sindel and Kung Lao on the map, these two ran the fucking meta. Until they completely killed off Cyrax, chopped off his dress, chopped off his head and feet and hands, just to target nerf these two motherfuckers. Right? They killed off a cameo just so they can come after these two. And all they ended up doing
Striker
was switching over to Striker or Kano, whichever one, it wouldn't matter. They found another way to do it. But now they finally got their head out of their asses and they target nerf the shit out of Raiden. So Storm Cell has now 10 extra frames of recovery, meaning that instead of being minus 12, it is now minus 22. Storm Cell no longer sucks you in, which means it no longer has a gravitational pull. Whenever you would be a certain range of Storm Cell and he did the move, it would just pull you in, and there was no way to get out of it. So whenever he had Cameo available and he wanted to do his block pressure, he was guaranteed his block pressure no matter where he stood. Or depending on the range, of course, but let's just he would always be close. So no matter where Raiden stood, he was getting that block pressure going. And that's exactly where you did not want to be at. But Raiden wanted you there, and he could forcefully put you there, which is very unfun and very unfair if you ask me. But now that they nerfed that meta, gone. You're done. Gonzo. So they completely killed off Storm Cell. The most you can get now is +1. And if you time it wrong, even by a frame, you'll be -1. No, don't get me wrong, you're still safe, but you can't do the shit that you used to do. It's only +1, it's not +15 anymore. Completely nerfed the meta, completely nerfed Raiden. I give them a plus for this because this is the meta that everybody was going because it made Raiden players unga bunga, it made Raiden players brain dead, and they would Pretty much, it was very effective. It was very, very easy and very, very effective. That's not what you would want in a fighting game, right? So I give them a round of applause because they finally learned their mistake. Do not nerf the cameo, because what happens when you nerf the cameo is that since they nerfed Cyrax here, who used Cyrax very well? Well, obviously we've seen Johnny. We've seen Johnny and Cyrax, of course, right? But there was nothing new, because that was like Johnny was one of the strongest characters in the game, arguably top three. He's probably still one of the best characters in the game, right? But this was before, again, Sindel and Kung Lao was even a thing. We've seen Rain and Cyrax. We've seen Sonic Fox put that synergy on the map, right? And then a week later, they end up nerfing Cyrax. He even won a tournament with this synergy. Insane. We've also seen Scorpion and Cyrax. We didn't see him as much as Scorpion and Striker, but he was definitely there to witness the amount of power that Cyrax had, right? We've also seen a little bit of Sub-Zero there, but not much. We've seen Kenshi a lot with Cyrax. Every Kenshi player that we've seen, whenever this game first came out, we've seen Sonic Fox use Kenshi. We've seen Titanium Tigers use Kenshi, and a lot of other players use Kenshi. And they paired them up with Cyrax. Probably the best synergy that Kenshi could ever have, right? Because Cyrax gave Sento for free. Cyrax gave Kenshi Sento for free, on block or on hit. If it was on block, okay, Sento recovered enough to jail. If it was on hit, Sento recovered fast enough to get a combo, which is crazy. And then obviously we had arguably the best synergy in the game, Baraka and Cyrax, right? That synergy right there was S plus. It ran the meta with Raiden, of course. We've also seen Ashura and Cyrax. She got a combo off the grab, which is crazy, which is really good. And not to mention, my boy Havoc also used Cyrax very, very well. That synergy was so good, people started to compare it to the best synergy in the game at the time, pre-patch, which is Baraka and Cyrax. That's how good the synergy was with Havoc and Cyrax. But now, since they completely killed off Cyrax, sorry, now since they completely killed off Cyrax, they also killed multiple different characters. They killed off Havoc. Garrus, the guy Garrus used Cyrax really well too for armor breaks. We've seen what's his face? What's the Garrus main name? Not Gur. Damn it, what is his name? Oh, I'm gonna be here all day to try to figure out his name. I know I am, but I'm not gonna do it here, right? But you guys, I really hope you guys know who I'm talking about. So they killed off Havoc. They killed off Garrus. They killed off fucking Rain. And these are the main three characters that we just do not see at all. Havoc, Rain, and Garrus. We already rarely see these three characters at all. Havoc being the most least played character in the game right now, because he's just not that great. And now they took away the synergy that made these three characters fun and good. They completely wiped these characters off the map just because they nerfed the cameo. So not only did you nerf the cameo, since you came out of the cameo, you nerfed over 10 characters for that fact. Probably 4 or 5 of those characters are already the most underused characters as is. And now you just completely wipe those 3 characters off the face of the game because you're never going to see these characters anyway. And so they finally learned their problem, and they finally listened to the community, and they started targeting nerfing the characters that needed it instead of the cameo that they were paired with. Okay. Now, on to another bad thing here.
Ermac.
Right?
Ermac.
Right now, we know these two are undoubtedly the most funnest characters in the game, as I already stated. But I want to make a prediction here. Okay, this is a very bad prediction, of course. Not bad as in like it was a bad guess or like I was wrong, but more on or I could be wrong, of course, but it's not bad as in like I just said. It's not a bad guess. It's going to be bad as in like consequence wise bad. With this recent patch, we knew that Peacemaker got nerfed. Now, don't get me wrong, Peacemaker needed the necessary nerfs because he did way too much damage. He did more damage than fucking Lee May, and we know how hard Lee May hits. They nerfed Peacemaker because he got 48 to 52% damage. No meter needed. So they did the necessary nerfs. Cool. Understood that. Heard you. Cool. They end up nerfing a lot more other things now. They end up nerfing Reflect Shield. They end up nerfing Eagle. And they put an excuse behind it and say that, oh, it now works how it intended it to work. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Right. So Peacemaker's still the same character, kind of, but he's still going to be fun. They just hit him a little bit. They just hit him a little bit below the belt, no pun intended, but still a good addition to the game. Which brings me to my next argument on this harsh predicament that I'm going to say. Ermac. Ermac now is undoubtedly the funnest character in the game. Ermac can do any and everything. Again, this is what happens when you give a character an additional 6 to 7 months of dev time. They come out really great, really great. But I've also been hearing around town that Ermac is probably one of the best characters in the game now. Arguably the best character in the game now due to the amount of shit and shenanigans you can do with this character. It is insane to me. Insane. So here's my harsh prediction. Since Ermac is going to be very, very strong, he already is very strong because he's very much a complete character. Very much so a complete character. What's going to happen is that once Ermac's honeymoon phase is over, because right now people are still like kind of starstruck about the fact that Ermac has made it this far, or that NetherRealm has made it this far with Ermac, how fun he is. And after a certain amount of time, which is about, I'll give it about 3 to 5 weeks, maybe closing in on like 3 to 4 weeks, but let's give it a little bit more time due to how fun Ermac is. 3 to 5 weeks, people are going to start complaining. Oh, bro, Ermac is a little bit too strong. Matter of fact, he's a little bit too strong. Nerf him. There's two ways another realm can go. The most common one, nerf the fuck out of Ermac. They're going to nerf the fuck out of Ermac. Nerf him so hard to the point he becomes as vanilla as the main roster. They're going to nerf Ermac so fucking hard, he's going to become as bland as the main roster. The percent chance on that happening is about 80%. It's very high right now. At least this is my assumption, my predicament. 75 to 80%, most likely they're going to beat the fuck out of Ermac next patch, or the patch when he receives that nerf, which is going to be about, I'll say, a quarter year from now. So 3 months, 2 to 3 months from now, Ermac is probably going to die. Or they can hit me with the most 180 360 fucking roundhouse back kick to my chin I've ever felt in my life. And they're going to buff every single character on the roster right here. Every single one of them. They're going to buff them so hard that they're going to be on par with Ermac. Now that say is probably impossible because the amount of tools that Ermac has is a little bit too much. And if they want to buff these characters to be on par with Ermac, they have to revamp the characters. They have to. Either give them moves, legacy moves that they previously had, like Melina's she still has air sign, I think, right? But like bringing back iconic moves like Kung Lao Spin. I have no clue why they took that out. Zero clue why they took that out. I don't even know why they took out Liu Kang's bicycle kicks. Even though we got the spinning dragon, whatever you want to call it, no. I mean, its properties are the same, but it's not what it used to be. Are they going to bring back Sub-Zero's ice ball and his ice clone on how they used to work? Are they going to bring back Reptilian slide? I don't know. I don't know. Right? So for them to completely like make these characters on par with Peacemaker, specifically Ermac, and how fun this character is, they have to add more than 25 different moves. Or sorry, they have to add more than 2 to 3 different moves for each character. You know how much time that's going to take for them to create an animation, set it for each character, and then code it into the database? That's going to take a fucking lifetime. At least since we're talking about NetherRealm here. If this was Capcom or if this was Bandai Namco, cool. We would probably got it. Or if this was Arc System Works, we would have got that patch probably like 2, 3 months, 4 months later. This is NetherRealm we're talking about, baby. So now that I explained the second alternative to you on giving all these characters certain moves or just buffing them to be on par with Ermac, now that I've like spoken to you and you've heard it, you know how unlikely that is. You know just as much as I do how unlikely that move from NetherRealm is going to be, right? So now do you agree with me here on that? They're probably going to kill Ermac next patch. I really hope they don't. I really hope they don't. Because this is the one advantage that they've finally gotten from the amount of shit that's been thrown at their window with a with a note that's been attached to it on everybody's comments, going from Twitter, probably in real life. I don't even fucking know. Ermac was their final relief of having bad comments. At least not as many. And if they fuck this up, they're done. They're cooked. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And your boy Spawn is out. Peace.